Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a piece of folklore that is, well, it's honestly equal parts chilling and incredibly beautiful. We're talking about a story that tackles disobedience, some seriously hidden dangers, and the literal life-saving power of unexpected grace. Let's break down the narrative elements of this ancient tale and see exactly what it has to teach us about the bonds of family. Okay, so let's set the stage with a question. What happens when a fleeting moment of childhood stubbornness leads to absolutely unimaginable danger? It's a scenario we're probably all a little familiar with, right? Think about the profound consequences of taking unconditional love entirely for granted. In the story we're looking at today, a totally mundane moment of kid rebellion kicks off a chain reaction that puts a young life in mortal peril. Let's get into how this all unfolds. Section 1. The Silent Child, a Stubborn Rebellion. Our source text kicks things off in a really peaceful, simple home. We've got a child living with their two loving parents, and it's just day-to-day harmony. But then, out of nowhere, that dynamic is completely shattered. The child gets inexplicably upset with their parents. But here's the thing. Instead of throwing a massive tantrum, the kid goes a different route. They choose a silent rebellion. They literally just refuse to speak. Not a single word. So the parents, obviously full of care, ask, "Nak, kamu kenapa?" which translates to, "Child, what's wrong with you?" But the kid gives them absolutely nothing. Now the parents assume this is just a harmless phase, right? Just a little bit of childhood pouting. So they decide to give the kid some space. The child wanders outside to sit alone. And sitting there in the cool, gentle evening air, this stubborn kid gets sleepy and actually drifts off into a deep sleep right outside the house. Unknowingly, they've just left themselves totally isolated and incredibly vulnerable. Which brings us to Section 2, taken in a terrifying kidnapping. Now take a look at this timeline, because it maps out how terrifyingly fast this all happens. Hour 1, the child falls asleep outside. By hour 2, a dark, looming figure approaches. This is a terrifying entity known as Mayempoti Masay. And he doesn't come empty-handed. He's carrying this container called a galong. Seeing this helpless, sleeping kid, Mayempoti Masay wastes zero time. Boom! Hour 2.5, he snatches the child up, stuffs them straight into his galong, and takes off toward his home, a place called Renggu Renggeng. It isn't until hour 3 that the parents even realize the child is missing. And you can just feel the panic here. The parents step outside to check on their kid, and nothing. Just an empty space where their child was literally just sitting. Instant panic. Anak kita kemana? Where is our child? They cry out. They start frantically searching everywhere, tears streaming down their faces. But there is zero trace. It's like the child vanished into thin air. Section 3. Threat of Lasilandia, the monster's lair. Okay, the absolutely crucial point here is understanding the sheer stakes of this situation. When Empu Potimisi gets to Renggu Renenge, we find out what he's really planning. And it is bad. The child hasn't just been kidnapped to do chores or, be held for a ransom. No, the child is intended to become Lasilandia. That means the flesh of a kidnapped child, which this monster fully intends to boil and eat. Yeah, it's that dark. The second he arrives, Empu Potimesi gleefully calls for his two wives. With just this immense, sickening excitement, he announces his prize. Hari ni aku membawa Lasilandia. Today I bring Lasilandia. He immediately starts barking orders, demanding they boil water right this second so his gruesome meal can be prepared. He's pacing, he's incredibly impatient, just repeatedly checking to see if the water is boiling yet. Amidst all this horrible chaos, the child finally wakes up. Realizing the unimaginable danger they're in, they cry out for the exact same parents they were completely ignoring just a few hours earlier. Papa, Mama, talong! Father, Mother, help! But Empu Potimasi just violently snaps back, Diam, sekarang kamu adalah milikku. Quiet, you are mine now. Totally fed up with waiting, the monster forcibly shoves the crying child over to his wives to be boiled. Section 4. Mercy in Renggu Renggeng, an unexpected twist. Now notice the really powerful contrast happening here. On one side, you have the monster's pure cruelty and insatiable greed, but on the other, we get this unexpected spark of humanity. The monster's wives, Berbonggeng Lokwake and Kengkwal Lokrua, look at this terrified child and seeing that pure, unadulterated fear on the kid's face, their hearts are just deeply touched. Instead of blindly following their husband's brutal orders, this profound empathy takes over. Section 5. The Great Rescue, a daring escape. So, Burbanging Lokan Wayak and Kenkwal Lokarua quickly and quietly hatch a plan. They decide to use clever stalling tactics against the monster. Step 1. When he yells from the other room asking if the meal is cooked, they lie. They yell back, "Not yet, please wait a little longer." Step 2. While he's impatiently waiting, they secretly smuggle the child right out of the house. They are literally risking their own lives to save an innocent one. And step 3, they make a run for it to return the child safely. Meanwhile, back inside, the monster's patience totally runs out. He storms into the cooking area to check on his meal, and the room is entirely empty. The wives are missing, the kid is gone. We get this raging, impotent aftermath where he just screams, "Lasilanjaku hilang, my Lasilanja is gone." His greed and cruelty ended up leaving him with absolutely nothing. Section 6. Love and mercy prevail. A joyous reunion. While he's raging, Burbanging Loke Wayak and Kenkwal Loke Rua are rushing through the landscape with the child. Up ahead, they spot a group of villagers, and right there alongside them are the frantic parents, desperately searching. The wives carefully place the child right in the path of the search party, and then they quietly slip away into the shadows. When the parents finally spot their kid, they pull them into this tight embrace, crying tears of joy, saying, "Syukur akhirnya kamu kembali." Thank God you finally returned. And it's in this incredibly profound reunion that the child finally realizes the immense, irreplaceable value of their parents' unconditional love. They vow right then and there to never be stubborn again. Ultimately, this story distills down to some really powerful truths. First, respect for those who love us is paramount. We should never, ever take parental love for granted. Second, it serves as a stark warning that simple disobedience can actually open the door to unseen dangers. But perhaps most beautifully, it teaches us that compassion can bloom in the darkest of places. The heroic mercy shown by Burbanging Lokwake and Genkwa Lokwalwe proves that empathy and brave action can quite literally save lives. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to reflect on today. This story might be ancient folklore, but its core message is timeless. Think about the invisible graces, the silent sacrifices, and the unconditional love that protects you every single day. When was the last time you truly appreciated them? Thank you so much for exploring this remarkable explainer with me today, and keep looking for the deeper lessons in the stories we share.